Алло. Снова здравствуйте, снова прекрасный диско Elysium. Смайла, да. Смайла сейчас используют только со сторонних программ, которые типа анимированные, там все дела. Прямо смайлик гифка. Сейчас с основными смайликами это еще никто не пользуется, в принципе. Заткнитесь, заткнитесь, заткнитесь. Я не сори, коп. Да, чтобы видеть смайлики, нужно иметь прогу. Плюс они должны быть автором канала добавлены. Да, только команда видно, иначе. Так, что происходит-то? Что я делаю-то? Можно качнуть левел. Можно еще какую-нибудь штуку. Че, мне все доступно вот это вот? Ёбнешься. Да уж. Буду ли что-то расследовать? Нет. Обещали пистолет, тут ты совершенно уверен, поэтому ты и стал полицейским. Но в конечном итоге ты очутился на улице с пустыми руками. Какой-то жалкий неудачник. Как ты теперь будешь раскрывать дело? Разговаривая с людьми? Как, по их мнению, ты сможешь без оружия защитить себя и их от дикарей? Это неправильно. Тебе надо придумать, как обойти эту проблему. Пока что можно просто угрожать людям пальцами. Вот такая мысль. У меня вопрос на таком. Есть смысл выкачивать прям вот все это чертово древо? Все навыки открывать? Или мне, в принципе, эти мысли и нафиг не сдались? Это, наверное, не спойлер, это просто какая-то механика игры, которая мне не особо понятна. Чтобы забыть мысли, надо очко навыков потратить тоже. Я не могу просто так забыть. Бонуса нет. Здорово. Бонуса нет. Минус одна риторика. Минус 2 эквилибристика. Прекрасно. Минус 2 эмпатия. Минус 2 визуальный анализ. Минус 1 авторитет. Что-то какие-то мысли очень грустные. Когда я ее прокачаю, дебаф спадет, и мне дадут какой-то бонус, да? Ага. Так. Давайте разблокируем, я считаю, что я себя прекрасно чувствую. Так, что мы хотим? Хотим ли мы дальше идти в какую-нибудь прекрасную... Ну что, блин, мы хотим вообще? Я считаю, надо беспощадную самокритику вкачать, потому что это просто слишком жизненно. Считаю, авторитет должен был упасть просто в нулину. Бонусы предметов -3. Это если быть стариком, то заповедного, я считаю. Жалкий кусок дерьма, полицейский кающийся, монах-самобичеватель. Ты выбрал для себя неподходящую работу. Тебе присмыкаться устов феодального лорда, с упоением обличать себя на музавистско-показательном процессе или рвать кожу на спине плеткой, девятихвосткой. Что бы ни сделало тебя таким, может быть уверен, ты сам виноват. Давай, критикуй себя, по-серьезному, кто знает. Может, ты вспомнишь что-нибудь важное из своего исполненного вины прошлого. Все, давай, пошла беспощадная самокритика. Я считаю, это подходит нам. Просто на миллион. Сейчас получается уже ночь, и я могу, получается, просто расхаживать, да? Я могу выходить наружу? Или как? Могу. Сейчас уже начался этап, где можно просто ходить и ничего не делать. Или еще рано? Ага, понял. Что, может, на скамейке посидим?
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone.
Понял. А никого нет, быстренько забегу сюда. Посмотрюсь хотя бы. Надпись РГП. Левашольский грузовой порт. Вероятно, раньше в грузовиках хранилось топливо, а сейчас спиртное. О, монетки. Сюда. Иномарка в хорошем состоянии. Интересно. Белая майка. Руины, засыпанные снегом. Здесь больше никто не живет. Хорошо. В языке крупная надпись. Humanox. Humanox. Это у нас что?
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air with the aid of numerous ropes and rods.
Что это?
A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II, the opulent, father of Philip IV, the insane. As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the king's chest piece.
Почему этот король знаменит?
Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy.
Да как?
Well, he blew through the whole national treasury. starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy during the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola.
Как ему удалось спустить в национальную казну?
Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person.
Кстати, сильный фарс. Неудивительно, что все скатилось в дерьмо.
But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction.
Что-что?
You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry, he was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy.
Ходит, он любит припудрить носик. Жирный торчок, значит.
That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay.
Ясно, где он сейчас похоронен.
Beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay, thrown there by the revolutionaries after they cleaned out the royal mausoleum.
Случилось со статуей.
The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution when Martinez was leveled. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. If the communards had more time, they would have reduced it up to even finer pieces.
Кто восстановил монумент?
Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit.
Я правда не понимаю искусства.
Neither do people in Martinez. The statue has proved to be controversial in a neighborhood mostly populated by the left-leaning working class. Those critics might have it wrong, though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Perhaps this art mystery will be solved at a later time. Philip III, the Squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death. Not that he ever did in life either.
Кемятина, что я вижу?
Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. A bullet? Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Лейтенант в короля стреляли?
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word for it.
Что думаешь?
Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution. But the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement?
Что-то связано с убийством?
If we connect every bullet hole in Martinez to the murder, we'll get an overwhelming amount of loose threads. But then again, we don't really know what we are dealing with here, so... I've made a note. Don't hold your breath.
The king stands high above you, surveying the bay, mute and indifferent to your sightings.
Хорошо. Тут у нас что? Монетки.
The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. A photograph is clutched in her hands, and there is a warm smile on her face. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile.
Прощение, уважаемая, я хотел бы задать вам несколько вопросов.
No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Щелкнуть пальцами.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Дважды щелкнуть пальцами.
Where am I? Who are you?
Иди закон. Вообще я надеялся, что вы мне это скажете.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam in the 50s.
Где вы могли бы быть?
Back in Mefka, during the time of the revolution. The sidewalks and cafes are filled with the young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadero picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you came along, that is.
Кто такой Габриэль Буэнгера?
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen. And schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
In all likelihood, it's a world that's only ever existed in her mind.
Что ж, у меня есть к вам еще вопросы полицейские.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
Что вы перевозите?
Diamonds.
Бриллианты, правда?
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
Вероятно, но что вы на самом деле перевозите?
Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
То есть вы не знаете, что погрузили собственный грузовик?
I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
Что если груз окажется контрабандой?
Then it's contraband, lawman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like Bad Hand Hermenegildo.
Bad Hand, Hermenegildos's bad hand, strangled 300 people. What can I say? Some people just really like strangling people.
300 человек. Так, я пришел оказаться какой-то далекой.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to her things.
So he doesn't think she's a smuggler.
You hear that, lawman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Ты возите грузовик, если вы так себя чувствуете.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best communers around. I drive routes no one else will.
Что это за маршрут?
Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain.
Удачная земля.
The Transcatolia Magistral. You for 1A. Autostradas do Mirador. All the good ones. The deep trenches. Where the bluebirds fly.
Я в некотором роде эксперт по отключке, и вам не мешало бы последить за своим состоянием.
You're right, Lowman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously. Thank you for looking out for me. Is that all you woke me up to say?
Все же до сих пор не понимаю всю эту историю об Айдере и Габриэле Буэнгера.
Of course not. To truly understand the Boyadero, you need to listen to on the Western Plain.
The Boyadero, Boya for short, is a cowherder from upstream Magritte, the great steppes of northern Mesk. He is a rugged individualist and explorer.
Ясно, что это?
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring Boyadero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plain.
Понимаю, этого не происходит?
Of course not. The Boyadero returns from the Western Plain a changed man. One night, as he and his beloved are out walking along the river Maigret, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down.
In the background, you can hear the orchestra swell as the screen fills with the maiden's imploring eyes.
Просто знаю, чем все кончится.
So the Boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Magritte. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him.
Я не думал, что этим кончится.
You have to understand. A true Boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a Boyadero.
Похоже, вы неплохо разбираетесь в наркотиках.
What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary, no drugs can compare.
Рак.
Yes, there is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest.
Как мне испытать такие ощущения?
If you don't know,
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
Что именно вы перевозите?
you're man, Lowman. What of it?
Хорошо, скажу иначе. Это вы возите наркотики через терминал Б. Не, блядь, это хуёвый вариант. Хорошо, сменим тему.
Good. I don't care about drugs. Little molecules, they are nothing.
Что ж, спасибо.
Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Mesky.
Еще раз болтаю с ним, что я ищу. Чела с наркотиками.
A Stars Ryko, one of the finest Zhimsk-made motor carriages ever. An oldie, but a goldie.
Кто такой Воет?
Not many people outside of Grad, and Revachol West too, it appears.
Викимба, гляди-ка.
A Stash Raiko KK2. That's a classic model. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time.
Погоди-ка, может, я смогу его удивить? Я знаю, что случилось в прошлый раз.
No, only that the motor carriage is typically baby blue, the colors of Sigismund the Great, an ancient Zhimsk ruler. His banners were famously zephyr and white, the colors of the Stars Ryko.
Что случилось в прошлый раз?
An old case from my precinct. A couple of Jim's migrants saw a Staj Raiko stopped in the street, painted just like this, muddy brown. Murdered the driver on the spot. They said it was an honor killing, Hussar style. The Jim's community protested the trial, flying the banners of some old king or whatever. 5,000 came to protest.
Correction. 4,395. The fourth largest public protest of a criminal trial in Revachol.
Каков был приговор?
4 years for murder in Reunion. The perps were remorseful. Their sorry knocked 8 years off the sentence. That's the system.
The prisons in the greater Revachol industrial harbor are already full. Prisoners are expensive to maintain. The longer the sentence, the larger the cost.
Кем мог ли наш повешенный быть водителем этой машины?
I tried to avoid drawing far-gone conclusions like this before actually examining the body. But my initial guess is the two are unrelated.
Понял. Он. Нифига, я могу сюда забраться? Надпись: в случае забастовки откройте крышку и нажмите кнопку. Ага. Герметичная дверь заперта на электронный замок. Дверь не получится ни скрыть, ни выбить. У меня... Нет, так оно не работает, да? Жаль. Какой-то качок стоит, и по с ним разговаривать.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Смерим его взглядом сначала.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not in danger, because you are not a threat to me.
Значит, тело выдает дегенеративную сущность.
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
Профи-алкоголик, сейчас мне нужен противопорт.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the Sandwich race is waning.
Все эти раз охрана сейчас мне не имеет значения. Мне просто нужно, чтобы ты помог мне с работой.
Begging for help. Attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness, and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Что-то без шансов пока. Я все понял. Подруга что скажет?
I can't believe it's snowing again. It felt like springtime just a few days ago.
Уже так поздно, ты до сих пор здесь.
I'm a nighthawk. What can I say?
She's still here because you're still here.
You don't have to stay because of us.
I like the city at night, don't you?
Понял. А детишки еще играют? Да, все еще здесь сшивается. Заняться им нечем, блин. Ну, я думаю, пора ночевать.
The door is closed. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick.
Понятно.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Спокойной ночи, лейтенант.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Ладно, пойдем.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
Как бы там сегодня все прошло.
Well, we didn't even look at the body.
Это правда.
And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
Часть моего плана начать издалека и постепенно приближаться к месту преступления.
It's not my job to evaluate your methodology, officer. I'm just going through the facts. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Evrard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the Wild Palms rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
if Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Это элемент джимровской охоты.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
Ким, не знал, что ты куришь.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looked so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Как ты стал таким крутым?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit below it all.
Курить мы не будем, а так алкоголики. Давай спросим у него все равно. Я подумал о том, чтобы начать курить. Не угостишь сигареткой?
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have
Unlucky.
exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes.
Подойдем в итоге.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
Какие у нас РГМ полномочия?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Ты видел лицо моего героя? Выпив кока-колы — это классика. Ему уже хватит. Тысяча, почему не больше?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Rebachol.
Не располагает ли это к превышению полномочий?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Понятно, какие еще у нас полномочия?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
А где гарантия, что арестованный явится в участок?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
Понятно, если кто-нибудь окажет сопротивление.
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
Что происходит с теми, которых мы признали виновными?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
Погоди-ка, то есть, если я убью кого-нибудь при выполнении задания,
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
составляют все эти правила?
The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Rebachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Я считаю, что это было коалиционное правительство.
It's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Or if they think you do.
Такое Морлентерн.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
Если бы я не знал, что это, как бы ты его описал?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
Во что они верят?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
У них есть символ.
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
Все мне просто выдали, по своему мнению. Кем был Долорес Дэй?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
Что о них думаешь?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
У меня есть свое мнение по поводу Марлинтерна.
Do you?
Четвертый вариант просто бан. Во-первых, крупнейшая в мире буржуазная организация на защите буржуазных прав.
No. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Да, Виланд это был.
Sadly, it is what we already are to the people of Martinez, most of them at least, especially the Union. Vigilantes. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
В чате просто посмотреть в ночное небо.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. Two glowing circles.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in land, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
Что с ними не так?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts.
Что в Джамроке РГП?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
Надеюсь, наше расследование поможет улучшить ситуацию, или, по крайней мере, принесет хоть какие-то хорошие результаты.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Правда?
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Спасибо.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Так. Ищем на балконе. На. Карту за номер. Нарушитель ПДД. Тайна ради помех. Закрытие шлюз. Какое у меня много заданий. Кошмар. Завтра в 9. В среду. У меня где-то было задание найти спиртное. Берем.
Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle of alcohol. Here's where the magic happens.
Смотреть бутылку.
Light reflects off the green glass of the Commodore red. The gods have been generous. Better pop it open before they change their minds. Wow, the gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it.
Открываем бутылку.
There's a satisfying pop as the cork jumps out, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. You've been here before. Welcome back, detective. You're home now.
Если я сделал глоток, какие будут последствия?
Nothing. Some mental stuff. Nothing to be worried about. Physically, you'll be strong as an ox.
Один глоток.
A golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things are melting. You're you again. A real cop. A real detective. Incredibly well done.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's an alcohol button. Alcohol gives +1 to physique skills. Physical instrument, half light, electrochemistry, endurance, pain threshold, and shivers. This is good before rolling a white check, but damages your morale. And remember,
From the void we came, and to the void we must return. The Bow Collector. It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. The sparks light her face, a delicate composition of triangles. The streets seem to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shapes growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you, carrying your signals. The holy messenger.
Трепет +3, ни хрена. Трепет мне нахрен не сдался. Вот что я понимаю. Не. От токоприемника я, наверное, откажусь, когда будет возможность. Порог, психика, сила воли, восприятие. Я думаю, пора прокачать какой-нибудь навык. Понял. Тогда мне точно оно не нужно. Или стоп, или чем выше уровень навыка, тем чаще он появляется, так? Понимаю. Или тем больше у меня шанс, что я смогу пройти проверку на него. Тогда это уже плохо будет, если я пройду проверку. У меня очень низкая эквилибристика, вот что я заметил. Что у меня снимает эквилибристику? Штаны мои прекрасные. Вот такие. Понял. Че, я приберегу один навык.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly.
Достать предмет.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something about the wrapper's texture is familiar. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum, loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers.
Это просто жвачка.
There it is again. The scent of apricots with a touch of cinnamon. Smells like the end of some distant summer. The surface of another planet or some ancient temple.
Древний храм.
Yes, from the height of antiquity. A long, long time ago. Millennia ago. On an island of time you can never return to.
Чание лета.
The sun sets into the sea, but the water does not boil. Instead, it turns to liquid gold. For a moment, the world's store of precious metals seems to increase dramatically, and you are rich. There is a movement next to you, the shuffle of a small coat, warm like the evening. But when you turn toward it, there's nothing there.
Дата.
Why are you talking to a gum wrapper?
Не знаю. Сделать глубокий вдох.
Bitter, citrus, sweet. It seems to grow stronger, like a glow, with every breath you take. Whatever petrochemical byproducts they used to create this artificial flavor have bonded tightly to the wrapper, or is that just your memory filling the gaps? Until a blossom of skin and flower petals erupts behind your closed eyes, made of toffee, cream, and distance. You just had to take a dive.
Убрать обертку. Что я? Та, что пахнет абрикосовой жвачкой. Вот это нам нужно. Вот это нам нужно. Мне это нужно. Нам не пригодится, я чувствую, Все, пока идем спать. И бутылку убери подальше. Опасно это. Ты будешь стоять у моей двери? спать.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
Заползти.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
Так, что же могло случиться? Что же могло случиться? Так, я великий работяга, значит. Меня бросили.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
Я могу все вернуть.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium.
Что такое Элизиум?
Everything. The pale and the Isolas. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
Я тебя уже видел.
No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. And the act is wearing thin, too. The spots on the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy.
Извиняюсь. Я могу вернуться в норму.
You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding?
Я пытаюсь расследовать преступление.
You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
Есть еще один вид.
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too, so soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head, like clockwork, barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Меня зовут Гарри. Возможно. Возможно и нет. Ой, вставай, братанчик.
Good going, buddy.
Я так и боюсь, стоит закрыть глаза.
Yes. Wait till you see the one with the chick in it. It's gonna be a good one. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
Что за хрень со мной творится?
You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Почему все так?
It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster.
Она сейчас меня убьет.
Time to get some more. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline.
Нет, я справлюсь, не пойду сквозь следы.
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
Тряхня без бедов проживу. Еще полгорода не перемрет.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Какие спиды у меня и так целый букет проблем. Какие спиды, о чем ты? Не надо нам этого. Просто проверить. А вот и ребята. Ладно, прежде чем со всеми разговаривать, сделаем 3-минутную паузу. Сейчас вернусь. Так, продолжаем. Что там, Ким? Хочешь мне сказать хорошего?
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them.
Дружелюбно, что ты имеешь в виду?
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them.
Че надо с ними разговаривать?
A lot of things point to the dock workers union. The circumstances in Martinez, my preliminary information. Actually, that's not a lot of things. We should have dug up more yesterday. Still, we need to talk to them, and it won't be easy.
Те люди, о которых нам вчера говорил Гард?
I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it.
Погнали.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. Do it on your own terms. But aren't you curious to know what they have to say about the murder?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Что вы расскажете?
Can I help you?
Ты ничего не скажешь? Бабушка?
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps pulling at the frayed edge of her blanket.
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear.
День добрый, все в порядке?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too.
Стоп, а что с телефоном в танцах?
The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is something to look into later. Ask God, maybe.
Зачем вам телефон?
To let the young woman who's house sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night, but they're still missing, and I haven't heard from them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
Ладно, допустим, ваш муж раньше пропадал.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
A cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds. Something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine. When you look around, you're still in the whirling in rags.
But you have more important things to worry about.
More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something interesting.
То есть ваш муж в экспедиции. Что за экспедиция?
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. What could be keeping them?
The water lock, that was broken. Could this be it?
А кто этот Гэри? Вы ему доверяете?
Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day.
Шест, по которому можно перейти на другой берег, сломан. Они, наверное, просто застряли с той стороны.
Oh my. What happened to the water lock?
Представьте себе, его перегородил здоровенным билбордом с рекламой масла. Прямо в воду упал.
Oh, sweetie. If it weren't for you, I'd be looking forward to another sleepless night. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband.
Yes, some left-field scientific research is exactly what you need right now. Funk up that vanilla murder investigation.
Я уже столько побочных заданий взял, я уже и не знаю, чем заняться.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the water lock's been repaired, and it's cold out there.
Увижу его, скажу, что вы здесь. Когда, вернее, если я окажусь на том берегу.
Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie.
Ваш муж ученый?
Oh, yes. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise.
Что такое криптозоология?
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends.
That's one opinion, yes. And people are entitled to their opinions.
She's used to playing off such insults casually, but they still affect her.
My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research.
The quality of research at Revacholian universities has been on the decline, but you doubt there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite.
Может, удастся убедить ее рассказать про крутых криптидов? Нет, давай сначала еще поговорим с ней. Скажите мне побольше про Морелло. Что он за человек, как выглядит про ваши
Oh
отношения?
dear. I'm not sure where to begin.
Ваш муж выглядит?
Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle.
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband, you'll need more concrete information.
Давайте пробуем еще раз. Пишите мне его как одного из своих криптидов.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case.
Вы давно женаты?
We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more somehow.
Как вы познакомились?
Via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he'd just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
Что я узнал все, что хотел.
I hope I've been useful.
Расскажите побольше о редком насекомом, который ищет ваш муж.
Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with entomological minutiae.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Ладно, сейчас не время для насекомых.
Of course, dear.
Убедите ее про крутые криптиды рассказать.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Я бы хотел узнать о кое-каких криптидах, которых вы изучали. Могли бы рассказать о парочке?
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Ладно, Ким, один маленький криптидик, клянусь.
He nods and assumes a waiting posture. Ooh, tough choice there.
Так, какие криптиды? Самый большой, самый маленький, самый опасный. Ручка. Невидимые криптиды. Так. Какой криптид самый опасный?
The gnome of Jeroma.
Жужонский гном звучит не слишком страшно.
Oh, it is. None of his victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
На что этот криптид похож?
It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
Нормально складывается, нормальное объяснение. Не придирайся.
Sure, a perfectly good explanation. It dissolved in its own venom. Go on then. Ask about more gnomes or whatever.
Отъебись, логика. Было познавательно.
Of course, dear.
Пока все.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring.
Что?
Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown.
Чего ты писаешь ко мне из-за того, что я недостаточно безумен? Это меньшая из моих проблем.
No need to be defensive. The regularity, the brownness, the cut and dry have their appeal. A very standard appeal.
Слушай, я просто пытаюсь сделать свою работу. Тут ни к чему витиеватости.
Of course you do. Let's get right to it. My lord's coppo type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax.
Погоди, то есть теперь это будет моим копотипом?
Yes, the type of cop you are, sire. Think of it as a caste, a class even, a nation of regular law officials that you belong to. It comes, of course, with the usual benefits.
Вопросы. Я теперь не сори коп. Я теперь обычный коп. Вопросы какие ко мне? Отправляй свою телеграмму.
Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic.
Я больше не буду извиняться.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. I love those.
Значит, телефонная линия не работает?
Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it. Losers.
Странновато.
It's not strange, it's inconvenient.
Правда ли, что она не сама сломалась?
Who told you that?
Это не важно, просто хочу знать, кого подозреваете.
Fine, yeah. It looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but I don't know if it's at all related. Plenty of assholes around here who aren't murderers. If you do find out who cut the line, though, let me know, so I can forward them the repair bill. Yes?
Хорошо. Наш великий повар что делает? Помидоры порезаны до прозрачности тонко. Жадновато. Что еще расскажет?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod.
Знаешь, за той дверью?
Your presence. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Да какая Лена? Она не могла этого сделать. Она волнует от своего мужа. Миска, в которую кто-то сплевывал, воняет табаком. Фотографии людей в спецодежде с оружием и плакатами профсоюза. Снаружи видны кусты боярышника. Ты что скажешь?
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten.
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
Прежде чем познакомиться с локацией, я хотел побольше о ней узнать. Это вполне нормально.
Yes, extremely normal. I'm not a gardener, by the way. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union.
Это очень здорово.
So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does. That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming. Nothing official. The District of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
Подруби бока, Ким, правильно, скажи ей.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
Ты чё такая агрессивная?
Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers.
Конечно.
Just dock workers? Do dock workers spy on the police? We let you off easy, miss. Don't think it will happen again.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders.
Мне с ней разговаривать бесполезно, она будет стоять на своем до победного.
Let's.
Я еще вернусь, тварь, я еще вернусь. Что-то я доказывать Антоне. Сначала я потрогаю тело. Пришло время потрогать тело.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Давай, короче. Попытайся сдержать водный порыв.
The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you'd expected. More fever than odor. It fills your mind, flushing you from within.
Да, выплевывайся. Если надо, значит надо.
You feel a great force ringing from your stomach. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat stings from the stomach acid. The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool. Among it, distilled spirit and bits of shish kebab.
Посмотрим, не знаю пока. Гребаный труп.
Keep it.
Спасибо.
The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head.
Думаешь, наш шатырный спирт поможет?
If you can handle the headache. Some officers use it to deal with cadaverine odor.
Ты не используешь?
I can't handle the headache.
Хорошо, где его достать?
That young woman, the gardener, mentioned she used salts for the smell. If she doesn't have any, there might be some in the fridge store nearby.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
Это вопрос, как снять тело?
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell.
Нашатырный спирт нужен. Понял.
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting.
Что я делаю?
Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hair.
Что я вижу?
Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world.
Что я чувствую?
Humid, your coat shields you from the rain while the city shivers around you.
Что на западе?
Sheets of rain over the water, a flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinez, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky.
Что видно ниже по побережью?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs, cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water.
А дальше?
Coal City, end of all lines.
Провести рукой по мокрым волосам.
Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring coal plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the distance.
Что на востоке?
The great gates of the industrial harbor are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide.
Сжать зубы, чтобы перестать дрожать.
Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within, and immeasurable poverty in its shadow.
А дальше?
La Drusienne, King Dri's passenger harbor. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms, cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary.
Что там дальше за распределительным каналом?
Kuron, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain.
Что за короном?
A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide. You have never been there. They don't need the law east of the river.
Что на севере?
Capeside apartments. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play. The morning news.
А ближе?
A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Coal leaks into a puddle beneath a dead man's feet. He swings from a tree, bloated. Droplets of rain slip from his cold cheeks.
Что на юге?
A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised.
Что на другой стороне?
The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock.
С какого-то района.
Have a brother in a cut. Where the wood at?
Хорошо. Мы здесь, а не там.
To be in Martinez, where no one goes, at the runoff point of a long-forgotten canal, in the whitest part of town, in the shadow of the day the revolution failed.
Что здесь делаю?
Standing in the rain, looking north, where Jamrock Rock City stretches inland.
Вздрогнуть и смотреть дальше.
In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink.
Что наверху?
Coalition-era statics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
Твою ж мать.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. At least we are dressed for it. Let's keep moving.
Подруга, есть помощь?
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Что если я хочу допросить не Тита, а тебе?
What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. In Martinez, you are no one.
Какую роль ты во всем этом играешь?
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems?
Ты проблема с отношением подруга. Так. Что-то мне оно не поможет, она стала ЧСВшницей. Тупой. Пойдем в магазик. С нормальными людьми поговорим. Что мне еще раз нужно? Шедерный спирт.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
У вас продается наш шаттерный спирт?
She looks up from her magazine, eyes filled with tired ennui.
Yes, what we have is there, in the medicine cabinet. Go take a look yourself.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint-Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Купаем наш шаттерный спирт.
Okay, don't, overdo it or something.
С этим мужиком поговорим. Пора бы уже.
Welcome to Revachol.
Ори, вошел, я знаю, ты где мы находимся.
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. My grandfather came here from a 3,000-year-old racist isolationist culture, while your ancestors came to this island a mere 300 years ago. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it nonetheless. It belongs to me as much as it belongs to you.
Да, скажи ему.
It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post-war limbo.
What he means is, fixation on the Revacholian nation makes it harder for Revachol to actually attain self-determination.
Ну, правда, ты подрываешь все наши шансы на самоопределение.
Oh, come on, man. I just said, welcome to Revachol. It's a lorry driver thing.
Мне дали ачивку «Самый лучший коп». Вопросы. Что эта ачивка дает? Заслужить высочайшее доверие Кима. Сюда.
I know exactly what you meant. You think my kind doesn't belong here, that I should watch myself and behave. But you see, I'm an officer of the RCM. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
Уже базу просто выдает Ким.
Silence. The air between them becomes tense.
Oh, the stench is getting unbearable. Is there a reason you're bothering me?
He smells of heavy motor oils, and his breath of high tar content cigarettes, probably Astra Whites.
Я нашел эту кружку в мусоре. Твоя?
Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything that funny in a while.
Твоя?
God damn. Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine.
He doesn't live in Martinez.
Что перевозишь?
Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike, so it's a sit and wait on your ass situation.
А как ты груз должен был забрать?
Apples.
Apples is exactly the kind of thing you'd say if you had something to hide.
Может, что-то скрываешь?
Look, as detective, I come from a long line of lorrymen. We got ancient rights and privileges. Oh, I'm here to pick up a load of fucking apples, man. Just regular Koiko picked apples.
Koiko may be another derogative for a person from Grad, you think.
О, значит, яблоки выращивают в Граде?
Yep, it's one of their main exports. They grow them down South Yekokata. A beautiful place. Got great scenic vistas.
In fact, Yekokata is a desolate wasteland whose name literally translates to Zone of Ecological Catastrophe. It features no scenic vistas and supports virtually no plant or animal life.
Йококата не на юге, яблоки там точно не растет.
Yeah? Says who?
Ее название, например, «Зона экологической катастрофы».
Then, I guess they grow apples somewhere else. You can never really tell with those koikos. They're everywhere, except their own homes.
Все время говоришь про Гойко. Кто это такие?
He means the people living in Grad.
Yeah, you know, Gradniks, Gradvolk. Those degenerates from Grad.
Но откуда это слово Гойко?
Cause that's what they're all called. Koiko Pichik, Loslav Koiko, Koikovich someone. Low self-esteem, those guys have. Mind you, they look Occidental, but they're not really like us.
Ясно, что это этническое оскорбление.
Hey, if the name and description fit by the very grace of nature, who am I to say otherwise?
Что, покажешь мне яблоки?
Did you miss the part where I said they aren't here yet? Besides, even if I did have some, I wouldn't go putting my nose in them, huh?
Relax. You've got all you can get here. He probably doesn't even know what he's hauling, even if it is something unsavory. So he'd remain unaccountable.
Бесполезен. Что, раунд 2?
There he still is, looking right.
Надо сначала, наверное, принять его как-то. Могу с ним что-то сделать, не знаю. Классическая трубка, обернутая хлопком марли. Противоменьшее средство изготовить в своем помещении. Это предметное задание. Его не обязательно брать в руки. Чтобы использовать, достаточно просто иметь его в инвентаре. Понял.
There he still is, looking right through.
У меня все еще шанс 8%.
The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Нам нужна стойкость. Сколько у нас стойкости? Да. 8 не 0, это факты. Но 8 это все еще маловато, по-моему. Добро пожаловать в Ревашоль. Не, ну 8 не 0, это факт.
Looking right. The ammonia only makes it worse. The combination forces tears out of your ducts. You manage to keep it in once. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
Прелестно. Ничего не говори, просто.
Are you okay, officer? You're facing tough odds here. It's aggravated further by alcohol withdrawal.
Что без меня я не могу сдерживать эти позывы?
No. This is a two-man assignment because it needs 2 officers to complete. I need your help. You need to get your shit together.
Хорошо.
You should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now.
You've gained a thought. When this dialogue is over, go to your thought cabinet and internalize it for special bonuses and effects.
Give it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
Как мне потрогать странный труп, если у меня не хватает стойкости? Мне что, выкачивать стойкость просто как дебилы сейчас? Что за мысль я получил? Тут тряпка. Спасибо, игра. Боже. Мыслей много, голова пуста. Как я могу прокачать стойкость? Кроме как качать ее так. Тряпка собирательства надо прокачать. Так. У нас есть какая-то хреновая мысль, по-моему, которую я хотел отказаться. От трепета я хотел отказаться, потому что он меня бесит. Точно. Или же просто открыть новую. Просто открою новую. Зачем мне тогда это все? Правильно, правильно. Тряпка собирательства. Ребят, полезный? Окей, окей. Это тряпка. Это не к лицу ни к полицейскому, ни человеческому существу в целом. Тряпке надлежит прежде всего собраться. Привести в порядок эту мягкую расхлябленную массу, чтобы вывести себя из состояния тряпки. Собери яйца в кулак и держи не менее 30 минут. Потом сделай нечто подобное с полушариями своего мозга. Говори с людьми, вдруг поможет. Так точно. Хорошо, 30 минут. Чем заняться, пока у нас есть 30 минут? Можно пойти поговорить с ребятами на площади. А ты у нас кто, кстати? С тобой мы еще не разговаривали.
Yes?
Да не ты, Ким.
I am a
feel like a traveler.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
Он это я. Слушай дальше.
From another planet. Hey there.
Что происходит?
It's the jam, my man.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils, heavy metals and other byproducts of the modern era. You can almost taste it.
Затор? Что это? Что же такое затор?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
Сколько ты уже торчишь?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak, or he just likes unusual words, or both.
Чуть умер от воды? Здорово. Мне нравится твой стиль, приятель.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need?
Скажи про эту забастовку.
It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
И что требует Профсоюз?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Думаешь, что хочет компания?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Может, мне устроить забастовку?
Maybe you should. Cops don't get paid much and the hours are long. Plus, you can get shot. Why not?
The RCM is a self-managing organization that operates on donations. We promote our own leaders. It would be like striking against your own mother.
В твоих словах, наверное, есть резон.
Yes, but do continue. You were asking about the strike?
Что еще хочешь мне рассказать?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
У всех?
Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
А ты сам-то что?
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
Ну, 8% мы уже пробовали. Дважды. Я не буду пытаться это делать. Ты знаешь что-нибудь о мертвеце? О том, что болтается за гостиницей?
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Деятельность какую?
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries. and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Бля. Сильно.
Ask for his conclusion.
К какому ты пришел выводу?
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees.
Понял тебя. А что ты перевозишь?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Да.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Ну ладно, а что ты на самом деле перевозишь?
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of found cargo. Mostly sporting goods, tracksuits, and that kind of thing.
Костюмы.
They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il-Moran market lately.
Входит ничего нелегального.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Твоя машина у тебя за спиной?
This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6?
Касательно фауна, потом, когда пересмотришь, что в воронном магазине продается фигурка с фауном. А нафига Куна эта фигурка? Он чертов наркоман. Смысл ему эта фигурка? Мне кажется, его такое вообще не интересует. Хотя, с другой стороны, если ему так нравится фаун, может быть, его и заинтересует подобная вещь. Не знаю. Блин, крутейшего этого торговца, которого тут снизу немного находится, продаются кроссовки, по-моему, тоже фаун. Да, по-моему, тоже фаун кроссовки. Ну да ладно, это мысли вслух. У тебя тут фаун на 6?
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together.
Можно менять тренировочный костюм.
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The
По
bosses
факту.
won't be happy.
Еще есть вопрос.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Наркотики ему он-то нет рассказывать. Хорошо поговорили.
Be a stranger.
Томми неплохой парень, мне он нравится. Приятный. А, кстати, фигурка там стоит миллионы. Я не знаю, как я накоплю на нее вообще. Конечно, не столько же, сколько там лампа стоит, по-моему, косарь. Но тоже немало. Слишком немало. По-моему, она не стоила 0,5. Что, мы сейчас можем пойти проверить, что нам. Это пока ходим, времени не идет, так что можем спокойно сходить проверить. Давай, беги. Скачайте старые кости.
You see rows of toy soldiers.
А, она реально ничего не стоит.
Of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms.
Берем.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you.
Приносит удачу. Пластиковый всадник без головы верхом на таком же пластиковом быке. Его поза выражает то ли отчаяние, то ли гордость. В наборе с ним также идет печально известная шляпа фаун, за которой он и потерял голову. Голова в набор не входит. Понял. Здорово, теперь у нас есть Фигурку. Ну, давайте сходим к нашему маленькому другу, который очень приятно с нами разговаривает. Мало, видел фигурку? Ты такой нет.
Fuck does Kuno care?
Я думаю, это ему говорить нет смысла, что меня рвет, он меня попустит за это. Да, поговорим о молчуне.
The fuck do you want with it?
Реально забайтил меня.
Bigmeister, don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom.
Возможно, если иметь высокую какую-нибудь патию, то тогда можно, типа... Нет, плюс к человеку он не дает. Он вообще...
Kuno doesn't.
То, что он сказал. Забатили меня на 50 монет. Боль. Без работы я никто, окей.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Загляни в окно.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. Fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you, making your eyes sting. The odor mixes with cigarette residue.
За наклейки и эмблема.
The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays.
Солнце свинцом волнистых лучей.
It is the seal of royalist era Revachol.
Что на заднем сиденье?
The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eamdal in the lost city of the Pygmies.
Ведь этот чел из Химдаля.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy.
А может, грузовик нашего крутого парня?
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over.
Что, мы на него можем доебаться теперь? А ну-ка, это еще не конец.
Looking for something?
Ты говорила что-то о правах и привилегиях шоферов?
Oh yeah, they're a big deal. My great-grandfather was a carter, had a royal license and everything. We've tried to hold on to our privileges.
Что это за возчик такой?
Someone with a cart. What did you think it was? That's how deep into history our thing reaches. Before machines.
Это привилегия?
Sure fucking is. We have a guild and everything, huh? Very ancient. Very prestigious.
Значит, в гильдии возчиков.
Goddamn right. They've been trying to fuck us out of our heritage in the name of profit. But when they try to replace us, they'll regret it. Trusting street thugs with their goods is going to fuck them right up the ass. Mark my words. Generations of practice and no laughing matter.
Что думаешь про наркотики?
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
Тебя несет бухлом, если говорят, чем наркотики отличаются?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
Погоди, но ведь алкоголь тоже делают в Вильдемарате, мне так сказали.
I don't go for that foreign piss. Proper booze is made in Mundi. Or sometimes I like a dram of that Yugograd vodka. Koikos and worse much, but they do no booze.
Слушай, тут я соглашусь, наш долг убрать этот яд с улиц Ревашоля, верно?
He eyes you wearily, unsure how to respond. This goes on for about 2 seconds. Then...
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Понятно все. А чё ты до сих пор торчишь? Остальные команьерос почти все разъехались.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking on at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
В пути сюда я видел грузовик, у которого распахнуты двери прицепа. Ты знаешь, что там случилось?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
If they were getting drunk inside the Whirling in Rags, how could they know who broke into the lorry?
Если вы были в танце, то откуда ты знаешь, что это кипты вломились в грузовик?
What? Aren't we allowed to say that it's the kips who do all the stealing around here? That's not road to science, man.
Спрашивать у него напрямую, кто возил наркотики, это максимально глупая идея. И у нас кто?
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
Что такое антисточник?
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
Откуда они взялись в таком количестве?
Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think.
Тоже они тебе не очень нравятся.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess scared, maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Вы пробовали с ними поговорить?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
Антисточники полицейский.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, "Let us cop for less money."
Psst. Show him your stolen card. Now has arrived the perfect moment.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife?
Я тоже сказал ему, что я коп. После этого я покажу ему краденую карточку. Это какой-то смысл имеет? Или я сумасшедший и что-то не понимаю? Я ему тоже скажу, что я просто скажу ему, я рабочий. Работяга, ну пожилой, на завод хожу. Вот. Чё? Он еще у меня краденая, то есть он мне еще сейчас скажет, что я мудак, что я украл карточку у кого-то. Эта игра меня иногда поражает свободой выбора. Брила Мартинес расследует убийство.
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder.
Ой, Мартинес. Честно, чем дольше я нахожусь в этой игре, тем больше как бы перестаю соображать. Слишком много текста. Мне тяжело. Мне очень интересно, но мне очень тяжело. На самом деле это очень весело и просто.
I don't believe you. Post L'Aventurier said the same thing. They tried to get me to be their postman. So fun, so easy, they said. It's just walking. It wasn't. I'm doing much better here at the harbor. Being an honest union man with a lot of free time on his hands.
Мне нужно что за этими воротами, я изучаю мир.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits.
Значит, ты пропустишь меня через ворота?
I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
If it's all so simple, why don't the strikebreakers just go up the stairs?
Вот так просто я могу просто взять и войти?
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Ага, головомер. Да. Сейчас был от тебя просто момент. Вот эта вот собака. Рукой. Головомер, кажется, я с ним встречался.
Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist up there. Walk right past him.
Просто пройди мимо. Просто пройди мимо. Так.
Then press the button to unlock the door.
Ага.
Then go past him again.
Ага.
And you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
То есть ты хочешь сказать, что на самом деле это будет крайне сложно?
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure head in a physical confrontation.
Физическом. Один. Обязательно.
Or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Кто-нибудь из антистачников пытался принять его образ мыслей?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
Кто-нибудь когда-нибудь брал над ним верх в поединке?
Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong.
Ага. Ясно.
Sure.
Еще вообще устроили забастовку?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to...
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike too. Just can't break the command structure and tell you now.
Хороший уж разговор. Что сказала тетка? Что сказала тетка? Не хотите срать, не мучайте жопу. Прелестно. Ну, база. Это база.
Volumetric ship compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit togetherness were thought to exist only at the center of collapsing stars, not law officials. It remains to be seen how long the shit singularity lasts.
Нормально, разблокировал все белые проверки, я считаю. Оно того стоило. Мы идем трогать тело. Еще раз. Не может срать, не мучите жопу. Реально фраза такая присутствует. О, эта игра прекрасна. Я обожаю эту игру. Раунд 3.
There he still is, looking right through you.
Собрался тряпкой.
White eyes, the body below. Ha ha ha. Again, the corpse laughs at you, pus dripping from its mouth. You will never be able to hold it in. It's always too much. Every time it happens, it gets worse and worse. There's nothing more to throw up now. All that's left is crying and convulsing dryly at the same time.
Просто заплакать? Можно я просто заплачу? Я уже не знаю, что делать. Я уже просто готов упасть на пол и начать плакать. Даже после того, как я был тряпкой насобрался, как это вообще возможно?
I'm at a loss as well. I could swear your shit was together, detective.
Sometimes even that is not enough. Life is unfair.
Что мне теперь делать?
Officer, you just need to be stronger. Learn to keep it in long enough for us to work. There's nothing else to do.
You can open this white check again by going to your character sheet and spending a skill point to upgrade your endurance. Gain new skill points by exploring and completing side tasks.
Relax. It's okay if you don't make it today. The bloated corpse isn't going anywhere.
Я уже один день проебал. Сила воли. Что мне нужно? Мне нужна физуха, да? Физуха, физуха. Нет, мне не нужна физуха. Мне нужна стойкость. Я сумрак 0, понимаю. Что, мне качнуть одну стойкость? Физиология. Что ты перепутал? Сумрак, значит, да? У нас сори коп, поэтому... Приоритет -3. Ёбнешься. Чё же делать? Чё же делать? Почему у меня коммунист 8? Почему у меня коммунизм 8? Ёбнешься. Ну да, 4, ну... Что поделать? Что-то хороший коп, плохой коп 11. Или это 1-1. Непонятно. Зоолога.
There he still is.
Если я прокачаю в единицу стойкость еще одну, смогу ли я потрогать тело? Вообще там было 60%. По идее, я могу и без прокачки стойкости рольнуть, если мне повезет. А могу еще раз блевануть. Вариантов, конечно, немного. Ты нам что расскажешь?
Bastards! We have a right to work!
Этот мужчина на портовые ворота, голос у него самый громкий из всех собравшихся и удивительно скрипучий для человека таких размеров. Что происходит?
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
Сколько достать?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes.
А-то, наверное, нет.
Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right to work! Right to work!
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
О каком правом деле идет речь?
Rights of people, rights of workers, to have gainful employment, to make a salary, and feed their families.
His manner of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Есть те вопросы.
Maybe you should ask them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scott.
Я тоже хочу попасть в порт.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. I'm trying to meet their fat boss.
Я спрошу людей про убийство.
I know nothing about a murder.
Совсем?
Wouldn't put it past these harbor bugs. They'd do anything to stay alive.
Right to work!
It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
Я в этом не разбираюсь.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity.
Let us work!
Кто такие эти штрейкбрехеры?
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to do!
Чё именно вы здесь добиваетесь?
We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
И не можете пробить себе путь?
Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guards blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is.
Черепомер?
Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The access panel is right behind him.
Уже настолько сложно справиться с одним человеком. Вроде бы ребята крепкие.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Чё, просто не поговорите с ними?
Like civilized folk, you mean? These native fucks don't understand civilized.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
Такая забастовка.
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
Чего хотят бастующие?
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
На сидят, что это значит?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence.
У тебя новая одежда?
He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
Ладно, просто должен спросить, откуда ты родом?
What's it to you?
Хоть расследование — это обычная рутина.
Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch. Or you just might be paranoid.
Я уже понял, но меня интересует твое происхождение.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
Бала, где я бываю в разных барах. Может, я его знаю?
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
Я и не знаю, есть ли такой прекрасный бар. Да ебусь до него. Впервые слышу, а ты не врешь?
We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Ярость у него. Такой злой. Это вопрос, а что же делать? Что же делать? Что же делать? Как снять сраный труп, чтобы не блевануть?
There he still is.
Пока еще рано. Пока еще рано. Не знаю, пусть Куна меня попустит по этому поводу. Она меня все время рвет, если я не могу исследовать тело.
Yeah, like a fucking volcano. Yeah. Fucking pathetic.
Да?
You're lucky you didn't die there.
Да? Можешь какой-нибудь советовать? Тебе самому, похоже, запах нипочем.
Yeah. Kuno's got some advice for you.
Понятно, сейчас он весь хуйню мне скажет опять. На что я надеялся? На что я надеялся? Он долбоёб уже.
What are you? Like 80, right? Maybe you should stop embarrassing yourself in front of a fucking kid.
Ты меня видел? Смотрите на это лицо.
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied non-vomiter.
Кунифицированный антиблеватель, я иду к тебе.
That's right. Turn your weaknesses into conceptual strengths. Try it again now.
Kuno doesn't.
А давай.
There he still is, looking right through you with his.
У меня есть баф. Трогай его.
As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it. It's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decaying flesh, tattoos, and tendons. This delicate machine, ready for picking. Instinctively, you crack your fingers.
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Подходим ближе.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength.
Смотреть ботинки.
The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
Не просто ботинки, да, это часть брони, которую с него сняли.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
Oh, the lieutenant uses a memo technique, A6. That's not just any notebook. It's a classic.
Спасибо, это было супер полезно.
It's all you, baby.
Что именно за броня?
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be.
Где?
Under the hill. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff.
Где остальное место растащили?
Piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. It would be odd if they didn't. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
Понятно.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form, ageless and synthetic.
Стучать по ботинку.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup.
Звук кажется хрупким.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. See?
Faint, organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them altogether. Like whirls of floorboards, the design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps.
Тебе что-нибудь напоминает?
If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like.
Вести пальцем по линиям.
The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination, E50, 100, 1000.
Похоже, на правом сабатоне указан серийный номер.
Good. Can you read it to me?
X5415 6745 678222. Let's lie.
Нет. И 50-100 тысяч.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
Какой материал выглядит здесь неуместным?
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics.
О каких суммах идет речь?
For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
4 года зарплаты. Ёпнешься.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 real, unadjusted for rank.
Где, то есть я получаю 5500 реалов в год?
Not too much, yes.
Маловато, неудивительно, что я не могу заплатить счет за гостиницу.
It's a sorry situation, I agree.
Такой человек мог позволить себе такое дорогое обмундирование.
That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor company. But that's just hearsay.
Что в предварительном отчете?
Just something I scraped together from my station. An area report on Martinez. I'm sure you did the same.
Слишком круто для простого охранника.
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
Тянуть за ботинок?
The stench fills your nostrils. As you push downward, an ominous creaking sound comes from above.
Stop! Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Brutal!
Отпусти ботинок.
What's wrong with you, asshole? Why is he letting Goku know?
I don't know, baby. I don't know why he's such a
Officer, if I may ask, what were you trying to achieve by putting on the deceased foot?
Я не знаю.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
Смотрим ремень.
The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt, big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under 6-rotor airships.
Спрашиваю, откуда я знаю, но это ремень для швартовки грузов на воздушных суднах.
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them.
Судя по всему, это армированная версия для авиаперевозок. Об этом говорит мой мозг.
The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand, without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves.
Они явно хотели, чтобы он оставался на дереве, канат армирован стальными волокнами.
I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed.
Полагаем, что дело портовых рабочих.
I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes. Motivated by the ongoing strike. You?
Что чувствуешь, что из одного момента в другое? Очаровательно. Мне кажется, это что-то другое.
Yes, it often is. This bell worries me.
Они вообще его туда подняли.
A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around.
Они что, забрались наверх по детской лесенке?
That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the bell to close the buckle.
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt, limbs limp and torso covered in tattoos.
Смотри, татуировки.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart.
Какой-то национальный узор.
Of no nation that I know of. If anything, it reminds me of religious illumination, last or penultimate century. Men who live harsh lives often turn to innocentic worship. But which one? I see no trace of a humanoid figure.
Мы что-то упускаем.
I agree.
He wears a wide leather belt around his waist and a gun holster under his arm. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera.
Что это?
A Trigger Sunshine. Mini.
Triggered is the world's leading manufacturer of intercommunication
Давай
devices,
дальше.
primarily projectors. The camera before you looks familiar somehow.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera.
Он достает две ампулы с металлическими крышками и защелкивает их в отсеке на боку аппарата. Светится тонкая щелочка.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
Установите в камеру, направит ее на труп. Ниндзя нужно построиться затем.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it.
Объясняет лейтенант и трясет листок, рассушивая его на холодном ветровом листке. Полноцветное изображение, покрытое татуировками груди погибшего. Зачем нам может понадобиться эта фотография?
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter. To us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around.
Можно мне посмотрел позже без этого трупного смрада?
Sure. Just don't lose it.
The glossy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper, teeming with opportunistic organisms.
Смотрите ему в глаза.
His eyes are milky white and blind to the world, protruding comically from their sockets. There is no one home, just subaquatic terrors there. These eyes used to be blue, baby blue. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic processes inside. The death's head grin has passed. What remains is an unrecognizable mess.
Мертвец, скажи мне, кто ты?
The corpse is dead silent. You have no idea why you just said that.
Who is he? He is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
Да, понятно. Тут 70% у меня не роляет. Забей. Глаза Ката, они были голубыми.
Good. The victim is of Occidental descent. Light brown hair, blue eyes.
When he says Occidental, he means white. Originally from the Occidental subcontinent on Muindi.
Придумать.
The corpse looks right through you as you distance yourself from its stench. Eyes like a shark.
Еще ведь отойти назад.
As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you blurs into a violent mess of green and pink. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Does his position at the time of death match the discoloration?
Смотреть.
Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air.
Руки розовые, бедра тоже.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration here.
Расслабить глаза.
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins. His stomach appears pregnant with something. Black liquid streams down his thigh and onto his boot.
So, what do you think?
Из него что-то течет.
A pool of blood and feces has eaten into the frozen mud below the man's feet. Purge liquid is dripping into it, drop by drop.
The victim appears to have contained no more than half a kilogram of digestion at the time of death.
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Прекрасный вариант. Вот это нам повезло. Что я перед смертью сходил?
Maybe.
Его били, видишь эти синяки?
I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them. The delinquents have made our jobs harder with their little sport.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
It means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal like.
Ну, после смерти он пребывал в вертикальном положении, кожа на руках, ногах, шее потеряла цвет.
Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports her hanging.
Его могли перемещать уже после смерти?
There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first.
Это тебе отдышаться. Потому что он труп.
I agree.
His personality is no longer a part of the world.
Totally dead.
Может, лучше не высказываться, она слишком громоздкая.
Sure, the corpse looks by, oblivious. Black decay liquid drops from his knee to his boot.
Отойти.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling the air and your nostrils. He slowly rotates before you, decomposing.
Будем его снимать.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once he's done.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt.
Появляется вопрос, когда я смогу
The man before you is naked.
снова этот тест пройти. Ладно, думаю, тельце мы его снимем уже в следующий раз. Мое время уже подошло. На этом мы сегодня закончим. Следующий будет в среду. Среда у нас что? 8 марта. Поздравляю всех дам с 8 марта в среду. Тогда. А на сегодня все. Спасибо за просмотр. Приятного вечера и спокойной ночи.